Hey, I'm JayTheDevGuy with a different kind of video for you today. You read the title. I filled an entire sketchbook in a week to fall in love with drawing again, and I'll just come out and say that it worked. In 2024, I want to slow down and take traditional art more seriously. I was already planning on filling an entire sketchbook every month, but when January came, I got so busy I found myself needing to fill an entire book within the last week, so here we are. Between working a full-time job, developing my video game, and creating content for this channel, it's been easy to fall out of love with drawing. Yeah, I was decent enough at it to make placeholder art for games or create cheap animations for this channel, but illustration quickly became means to an end. I'd lost touch with my former self, who loved to draw, and I'm happy to say that that's already changed thanks to this challenge. This challenge, and my video talking about it, is heavily inspired by Joel Haver. Joel, who I'm sure anyone watching this is familiar with, to me represents artistic integrity on YouTube. Joel's videos where he just sits in front of the camera and talks about life and art are seriously some of my favorites. He talks a lot about prioritizing work that you love doing and fostering an audience that follows him through whatever artistic interest he has at the time, rather than being pigeonholed or, chasing trends. Those videos are easily among my most rewatched on YouTube ever since becoming a creator myself, and seeing his success really inspired me to create a video like this one, which is pretty different from my usual highly produced animated devlogs. Rest assured, those are still coming, but this January I've been enamored by pen and paper again, learning all about paper, experimenting with different mediums, and thanks to Joel Haver, you people get to hear me talk about that instead of my little Team Fortress 2 knockoff. And that idea of following what you love isn't just a nice thing to think, it genuinely helped me accomplish this challenge. It was so much easier to fill the pages with the enthusiasm I used to have as a kid when I was just doodling stuff I liked. And what I really like are other YouTubers. If you've been paying attention to the B-roll, you can tell there are a lot of YouTubers in this sketchbook. I'd be pretty impressed if someone could name them all, and yeah, I'm baiting you to try in the comments, and I don't know why I drew Doodly as like a Garfield in his bed. I drew some of these pretty late at night. The point is that when I was drawing things I loved, it became a lot easier to put in the work. Yeah, I'd still push myself out of my comfort zone, learning how to draw faces more properly, trying to shade my line work, using pens I'm unfamiliar with. Doing what you love isn't an endorsement of staying in your comfort zone. I'm not here to lie to you that drawing the same things you've always done is going to help you grow as an artist. More that if you can find joy wherever you can in doing something challenging, it'll make that climb a lot easier. Or at least a lot more fun. Which, to me, I don't know, that kind of ended up meaning the same thing. A big part of taking art seriously and having fun while I did was my tools. And I want to say first and foremost that there's this attitude about art supplies I see a lot online that I really respect. A lot of people advocate to just grab whatever's in arm's reach and use that. The cheapest sketchbook you can find, disposable pens, and just create. This is meant to fight off that too good to use attitude I'm sure a lot of you can relate to. You know what I'm talking about, the sketchbook that's too nice to actually draw in, or an expensive marker that you're not worthy of yet. But for me, I think especially as I've gotten older and free time has become a lot more precious, I found that the more I love my tools, the more I love to draw. And the more I love to draw, the more I draw. So using nice tools was a huge motivator for me to fill this sketchbook within a week. So before you ask, I use a Moleskine sketchbook, Copic markers, Pilot G2 pens, various microns, and a Lamy Safari fountain pen. I'm trying something new here. I've created affiliate links for all these in the description, but before you give me or Jeffrey Bezos any of your money, you have to promise me to go to your local art store and look there first. I shopped around a bit. Admittedly, some of this was impossible to find offline, but no fan of mine isn't going to try shopping local first, so please try. But, thanks if you do end up using the affiliate links. If I had to recommend something, it'd easily be the Moleskine Art sketchbook and the blue micron pen. This sketchbook is a much more reasonable size for this week-long challenge than the one I used, and this blue micron just kind of always looked great and was a joy to draw with. A pleasant surprise about filling a sketchbook this way was it becoming a little diary. Since I was so focused on drawing things that interested me at the time, I have this handmade time capsule to remember things. Like, I went and saw Hank Green's comedy show, Pissing Out Cancer, which, a great show, and seeing the man who gave me my entire worldview as a teenager was the best night of my life. And this sent me down a Vlogbrothers binge that ended in me drawing various Hanks from over the years. I also watched a ton of indie animation on YouTube, and now I had an excuse to draw fan art. And man, can we talk sometime about how good indie animation online is? Because, I don't know, it's just hard not to be inspired, frankly. Oh, and I've recently become obsessed with using a paper pocketbook to plan my days and organize my life instead of my smartphone, so I drew this page that represents all the things I was currently doing with it, and listen, all of these interests could easily be their own video later, but the point is, this sketchbook bundles them all together into one handcrafted package that's really fun to look back on, even though it's just a week old. But let's not forget, one of my main interests here was to get better at drawing. And I can genuinely say, focusing on drawing things I cared about helped me a ton there too. The perfect example of this are these pages about food. I just realized I'd never really drawn food before, but instead of practicing with a generic bowl of fruit or whatever, I decided to draw some of the best food I've had on the West Coast in the last few years. I got a lot of good practice in, and I also just had fun collecting images of delicious meals I've had recently. Like, I'd never drawn a salad before, so I drew this tea leaf salad and... Okay, listen, I know this video is pretty preachy already, but if the only takeaway you get from this video is that you find your nearest Burmese restaurant and order a tea leaf salad, I promise your watch time has been worth it. And drawing this food challenged me in a lot of fun ways. Like for this sushi rice, I had to figure out, okay, do I draw individual rice grains or just leave it as one amorphous blob? And just solving that problem was way more fun for something that I cared about. There's honestly so much in this sketchbook I want to gush about to you, but in the interest of time, I want to show you some highlights that I just think some people will find neat. I don't know, the first comment that can get every single reference correctly, I'll draw a picture of whatever you want in my next sketchbook. Enjoy the montage. So yeah, I really enjoyed this challenge, and it accomplished everything I was hoping it would. I'm more in love with drawing now than I have been in years, despite spending so much time in the last week doing it. I know these clickbaity challenges can be divisive. Game jams are a lot like this, right? Finishing something in 24 hours, 48 hours, or in my case a week. Is it even a good thing? Like, is it a fun way to shake off rust and learn to finish something for people who struggle with commitment? Or is this just another content-driven, grind set, race to the bottom that commodifies what should be a pure beauty of making art? I'm not really here to throw my hat into that debate, but I will say this. I make art for myself, I make videos for myself, and I did this challenge for myself. And I know myself. I know my weaknesses, and I knew that this challenge was going to push me out of my comfort zone in ways that I knew would be good for me. But I also know people, and I know that I'm not a very special person, so I'm sure that a lot of people out there are going to relate to the struggles I've laid out in this video. I'll say if you find yourself in a similar situation to me, then yeah, you should totally do this challenge. And I'm well aware that watching sketchbook tours online can sometimes be so demotivating to watch. You know, you're watching someone so much better at art than you, it just makes trying feel like a waste of time. But I watched a lot of sketchbook tours before making this one, and I've also seen that watching someone be enthusiastic about their art can make the desire to draw feel infectious. And I'm not that great at drawing, so I really hope that this video was the latter for you. And let me know in the comments. I still read every single comment I get, for better or for worse, and I'd love to hear if this experimental little video helped you learn to love drawing again in any way. And also just let me know what you thought of this format. I'm not as good at this off-the-cuff, sort of half-scripted stuff as Joel Haver, but yeah, I like to think he'd be happy I tried something new and did it in a way that I loved doing. Here we can see the last real drawing I did, a few Joel Havers as a thanks for inspiring me. I think it's a huge improvement in only a week's time, and yeah, thanks Joel for not just helping me pursue what interests me, but also having the courage to talk about it on what little platform I have. And thanks for showing me what integrity on YouTube looks like. You've helped me stay true to myself as an artist and not just follow what the algorithms ask for, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So, thanks for watching. Oh, shit.